Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. You might be wondering what's going on here. A couple of things I'm going to point out, but the main reason for this video is to do with fitting the ARB compressor on the new stainless steel KAON compressor mount. Now, a couple of things I'm just going to show you. Obviously, this vehicle's done nearly 17,000 Ks, and they talk about the dusted intakes. Well, this one, 17,000 Ks, we put the grease on from day dot, brand new on the seal, no dust on there, so I don't know if that's solved the problem or what people are doing wrong. Anyway, back to the compressor. So we've just got this out of the way. We're just going to quickly run through the process of mounting this compressor. Now I just want to be clear, we're not the compressor ARB compressor mounting experts, nor have we used one of these compressor mounts before. But obviously watching this video will make it a lot easier for you to be able to mount your KAON compressor bracket. Now, firstly, I just want to say the reason we choose this compressor, I'll just get it out anyway, it's the ARB, whatever part number it is, I'll tell you what, I've got it over here, I'll tell you what it is for those people that are interested. It is, there's the number, here's the compressor, right? Where's the part number? They don't have the part number on the box. See it there? No, here we go. This will be it. That's not the part number. It's got the specifications. Gotta be kidding me, okay? Couldn't be that hard. Anyway, it's the ARB compressor. The standard, I call it the standard one because it's fairly standard. It's a CKMA12, alright? There it is, CKMA12, that's the compressor. This is the reason why we choose it. You've got to take lots of different things into account when you're setting up your vehicle, and one of them is obviously reliability being really number one. One of the key things, you want to get your tyres pumped up, you don't want to be there forever, and of course, like I said, reliability, you want it to work. And you want to keep it as light as you can, so it's quality versus you don't want to be too heavy. So you can get the double pumper, you can get, I think that's the 24, the other number 24. To me, it's just a bit too heavy, it takes up too much space depending where it is. We need it under the bonnet so that it's not taking up space in the vehicle. ARB do have an awesome rear mount system under the rear trim, so it's out of the way. You can do that if you like. To me, the downside is the length of the wire. Can you see how close this is to batteries? It's in the engine bay. The shorter the wire, the better. Less voltage drop, it's going to work better, more efficiently, and it's just up here out of the way. So what KAON have also considered in designing their bracket, they've made it quite universal, so you can sort of adjust it to suit your vehicle, and possibly you may have some other accessories around, and whether it's a 1KD, this is a 1GD, or I think it even fits the FJ, I'm not too sure, but information like that I think is accurate, but just check it. Obviously they want to make it pretty easy, neat and tidy. Now there's a couple of things. What was I going to do? I was going to take it out. So look, I'll take it out and show you what it looks like. If I can get this nut undone, I'll just put it in, only put it in finger tight, so you'd be hoping that it'd come back out again. Yep, no, here we go, it's coming loose. So the bracket comes with two pieces. One part is the bottom mounting bracket. Right, and three of those nuts. Right, now this is the deal. There it is. Okay, I've left it all loose at the moment for adjustment purposes, right? So basically what I've done is get the compressor out of the box. I've turned it around in this configuration. It may or may not be right. As it turns out, this bracket here gets replaced, and there's a switch panel that mounts on here, so you can actually have your switch under here. Personally, I don't need the switch in the car because I haven't got a locker, and when I'm going to pump up my tyres, I'm going to pop the bonnet, I'm going to pull my airline out and plug it in here and hit the switch and turn it on, and I'd rather switch it on and off and not have to run wires inside. I'm not going to use it in the dark, so I don't need the switch to be lit up or anything like that. I'll just keep it all in here, nice and neat. Now, so there's that bracket there gets replaced. We haven't done that yet, but we'll show you that in this video. Basically, set the compressor up more or less like that, because you can adjust. It's very adjustable, these ARB compressors. You can see we've got it slid further back, and that's what you need to do with the 1GD, so this end doesn't hit the airbox. With the other models, you may be able to bring it back. So I'll just show you what I mean, if I can. See how that just slides in there, right? So it's all, that's all adjustable. I've got a little bit tight by tightening and loosening those. I haven't tightened them up yet, but I obviously haven't got them loose enough. Same with these. What I've done, they call this the backing plate. I'm not from ARB, I don't know if that was designed to go there. I don't think it even needs to go there, but I like it, okay? So we've put the bolts through. They're the sort of dome head bolts, not the 10 mil, there's a 10 mil one there. And those heads kind of lock into these brackets so you can tighten up from this end without having to hold those. So once we get it all in, I'll nip these up a little bit so it stays a little bit tighter than that, so that we can do our adjustment by carefully maneuvering it, and then we'll pull it out and we'll nip all these up so and everything's locked in place. But I just wanted to show you the configuration. Okay, so let me just have a look and see what you can see there. We'll probably take this to the bench and show you again anyway, but basically the air intake faces the back. That way, if you think about it, you're not really going to get any water in your engine bay, especially up as high as the airbox, especially behind the airbox, especially at the back of the compressor, especially while the compressor's running. I would suggest is correct information. So that's the configuration, the way it sits. So with the air at the back, this is the configuration of your bracket. Put those bolts through first, then you sit your bracket in place. You can use this backing plate or not, I did. That's the one that comes with the compressor. Then the flat washers, then the nylock nuts, okay? Then you come over here and you carefully, of course, always very carefully, lower it in place. And it does actually, I'm gonna make it look hard because in videos that's what happens, it always ends up looking hard. Well, I think that's in the right place. Did I get the one at the back? I assume is it sitting in position. I can't actually see it. Oh yeah, it is, right? And that's why I just sat this nut in place, so that basically you've got one there holding it in the position you want. And obviously all this is adjustable, right? So don't worry about the angle of that. You know, you loosen off these and you twist that, and these can twist around, and this is going to have to come around this way or whatever, because I'll show you roughly. I haven't put it on yet, but we'll get to it, and I'll show you the finished product. There'll be more photos and stuff like that, but this bracket here, I believe, replaces that one there. So you just take those 3 bolts out, you put them into this bracket, that becomes your bracket, and that's where your switch goes right there, which is why I'm going to have to move this around. Easy enough to do, no big deal, right? How cool is that? So you've got a switch mount there as well, and there's a little hole there, and it comes with a nut and bolt in the kit if you want to mount your relay there for your wiring loom. You know, you've got that big, massive big wiring loom, which, yeah, it's a bit of an overdone job for some, because you don't need the lockers, you don't need the lighting and all that sort of thing. So we're just going to try and keep it simple, see how that works out. We'll let you know how that goes as well. We just want a compressor, simple stuff like that, where you come out and you switch it on, plug it in, and it goes. These are very reliable. Heaps of people have got these ARB compressors, and they're very reliable. I'm not going to say one's never broken down, I don't know, but I see a lot of vehicles and people don't tell me they have problems with them, and ours have certainly been reliable in the other vehicles and everyone we've seen using them. So that's the deal. We're going to get that adjusted. Now, I'll just show you what you can do with this, right? You can actually, you can twist it, you know, with all the adjustment. There's quite a lot of adjustment actually. Better if you get that out of the way. Let's see how much it goes all the way over here, all the way over there, and of course, you know, you can slide it back and forward where you want. So what we've done, we had it sort of set up, and you just want to make sure it's not hitting the back here. So you've got your master cylinder here, and you've got this little accumulator tank. So you just want to make sure you've got a space there. That doesn't go far, but it does wobble, so that could vibrate a little bit, right? So you just want to make sure you're clear of that and you're clear of your airbox. So to set it up, just obviously get this sitting in place, right? It's just sitting there. You can pop a couple of clips on if you want. And you can still get to the clip of this airbox down here as well. I'm just going to clip it forward to show you can do it, right? Right, so that's clipped. It does obstruct your access there a little bit, right? But you can still pop it loose, and I'm not going to put it on again because I already put it on. And at the moment, just with that sitting there like that, I've got around about, I can see about 8 millimeters of clearance to that top bracket just there, right? Because they do wobble a little bit, right? And when I go like that, push it that way as hard as I can, within reason, we don't want to wreck anything here, it's not hitting the compressor. So I'm happy with that. We can move it further back, but that's pretty good. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to get it out again. That was more to show you what we're doing. We're going to get it out again. We're going to nip up those nuts a little bit so that when we move it around to the position we want, it sort of stays there. It's a little bit loose at the moment, I think you noticed. We're going to do all this again. We're going to get it set up in the right position and we're going to bolt it down. It's going to be awesome. Okay, so you like when I always go, okay, so anyway, just want to show you replacing this bracket, right? So I'm just going to loosen all these off, right? Just hold it carefully and securely, right? I'll just hit this top one a bit more with the ratchet. So we're basically taking all three of these bolts out. Just trying to show you this most simple way. Might not work out for me, eh? So this long bolt is going to come all the way out in a minute. So we're taking this one of the shorter ones off. Okay, just putting that down. We could have done this in time lapse, but you know what? Whatever. So there's that bracket we want to replace. There's an O-ring there too, so we don't want to lose any of that stuff. So just be careful what you do. Right. It's got to come all the way out. This is kind of good if you've got an extra hand, because it's one of those things where, okay, I've got to get that O-ring off. I don't want to let this go because I just want everything to stay where it is. Let's not forget that O-ring. One-handed job. Let's see if that'll sit there. That'd be nice if it would. Yeah, looks like it is. Right, now we're going to get rid of that bracket, and our new bracket is going to come into place up here. Just going to put the bolt through the carefully thread that in. It's mainly just going over the O-ring at the moment, but might be better just to have the O-ring on the bolt and slide it down. Like I said, I'm not a ARB compressor fitting expert. Alright, so get that down there and get that started. Try and find these other bolts wherever they went. So this switch panel replaces the bracket. Bit of a long one, but you get to see the whole thing in detail. Then there's no confusion. I mean, it's one thing to get instructions with something, but don't you find, you know, it's just a pain, just all those instructions, where on some cold rainy night you can just sit back and relax and watch a video. You know, you get this in the mail during the week, and then whatever night you just sit back and relax and watch a video on how to install it, right? So you see that, that's all adjustable. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to leave that facing upwards because that's what we want, but we're going to have to spin this around a bit more. Right, so I'm not sure, I'm not going to tighten that up yet either, because we're not sure of the exact angle of which way we want that to sit. These ones we can just nip up a little bit more because they aren't going to be coming out again. What we'll do, we'll have a feel. I'm sure there's a torque setting there in the ARB book. We'll have a feel of these ones and see. I suppose they're a bit different anyway, so just go nicely, like what we normally do, just nicely. Right, so that's that. I've got my fingers jammed in there, ouch. Okay, so now we've got these bottom ones tightened up a bit so that when we put it in there, we can, and loose enough we can move it, but it's fairly tight. I think you know what I mean. So we'll need to, let's tweak this now as well. So we'll have to get a shifter, I think, and put it on there. We don't want to bust that off. I just thought I'd have a feel and see how tight it is. So I think we'll just put a shifter on here and spin this around until that is facing backwards over the tank. Would be the go, wouldn't it? So let's stop it. Shifter. Have to travel a little bit for a shifter. Not something that we always have handy. You could probably use the correct size spanner over it actually. Let's see, I'll just have a feel and see how tight that is. because I can't remember when I put that in. You know, you don't want to go too far with things. We've still got to go another, what, 180 degrees, so. Maybe not. Maybe. Yeah, no, it feels alright. Hope I'm not making it look too hard. It's a little bit fiddly. Compressors hanging around on brackets and whatever, and things spinning around there. It's more turning that way than what we want it to. So I hope that that's a good direction like that. Okay, that's what I'm going to try anyway. So that's sitting nice and facing backwards straight over the tank, and that should be neat and tidy. All our wires are running that way, and we can access the switch. Let's have a look how the switch will sit. Now, of course, we haven't assembled the switch because the top's not on it, but that should sit nicely in there. I'm not going to push it in either. It's going to go clip in and it's going to stay there, and I haven't even checked if I've got it the right way up or not or whatever. So, you know, we're going to make sure we do that right. But that's what that's all about if you're not sure what I'm talking about with a switch. We're going to go back over to the car, as I said, sit it in, get all this base adjusted up right, pop it back out again. Then we're going to tighten all these up nice and firm. Check all these as well. Just check that they're nice. And all these on the end and the end of the tank. Basically just check all the nuts and bolts. Then we can sit it in and fiddle around. We've got to get to these 3 nuts. The 3 nuts do come in the kit. We'll just put that aside in the box in case whatever one day, as you do. And it's looking a bit like bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so as you can see, what we did is, as I said, we sat it back in position. I adjusted this, and I shouldn't have, and then I nipped that up, but now it's slightly out because you can actually twist this whole assembly up on top here, left and right. So I got that sitting where I liked it as well, because that gives this a bit more clearance at this side here to the, bit more clearance to the master cylinder. The back, you've just got your plastic air filter there, and there's a few wires and vacuum lines running back here. As it worked out best for me, you can see how far back the compressor is. I suppose it's right almost at the limit. It's about, if you want a specification on a 1GD, it's approximately 2 to 3 millimeters from the end of the bracket to where the seam is, to the join. And you can just see the sticker start coming out there. This is the configuration of the bracket again. I've nipped these up. We've nipped that up to stop this twisting, because those is what allows that whole thing to twist in there. We don't need to worry about the location of these because we don't have lockers. If you had lockers, it may be different, where you may have to put this in a different position, and you'd probably have those coming off the side here, whatever the case may be, depending, or you might have them up here at this side, whatever it is anyway. No lockers here. It's a Prado 150 traction control. It's going to take you everywhere you need to go. That's another story. There's the compressor. Everything's tight. We're just going to double check it again, and we'll go and mount it in the vehicle permanently. Well, I think so. Mate, these guys at KAON are way too smart. Check this out, right? So the third bolt where you mount the bracket, here I'm fiddling around. I've got a spanner here ready to... So there's 2 nuts that go. There's one straight down here, one straight down there. I'll show you. Right, so that's the deal. Sorry about the light and everything, right? You can see where the 2 nuts supplied go down there. There's another one that goes down there, and it's quite a fiddly spot. Look at that. You know, you wouldn't want to have to get down there, would you? Right, now, that's what I'm thinking. But he's actually cut out a slot in the bracket up the corner there, or designed it in such a way that you can just get your... See that? I've got a wobble extension in there. And I'm just... Look at that. Absolutely so easy, you know. Nip that up nicely, that's good. We don't want them coming loose on those outback corrugated roads, so we're just going to give them a good, what, 30, 40 newton meters, whatever you reckon that is. Just nice. I've got a good feel. Check them at each service like always. Now I reckon that is mounted. Set that up, it's rock solid. Okay, other than the rubber supplied mounts, that is rock solid, that mount, I'll tell you. That is good. I'm giving that quite a bit of curry there to get it to even move. And of course you've got the leverage factor by, I'm sort of doing it by the top. But, so of its own weight, it's not going anywhere. We've set it up with, we've got approximately, I can get a finger between there, so that's good. That ain't gonna wobble anywhere near it. That ain't gonna wobble anywhere near there. We've got 10 mil to the airbox. Good clearance through here. Switch is gonna be in a great location. Right here to plug our airline on. Right. And down here, as I said, we've got a few wires. I think half of them are wires that I've put there. So you might want to just, I'm going to tidy these up. I might even, some of them I can't, but I was a bit lazy and I've run the wires on the compressor side of the main wiring loom where I could have tucked them under. So if I feel, they're not, everything's fine. Nothing's actually rubbing anyway, so I don't have to do anything. But I'm looking at it now, wishing I should have put it under the wiring loom, which at the time I didn't need to, but I didn't know I was going to put a compressor in there. What an awesome spot. Look at that, eh, guys? And then once the, we'll just temporarily sit the airbox in place. Right, so as if it was going on. Right. Let's see, this is the true test to see how hard it is to get to that airbox clip, because I'll tell you, it is a little bit compromised. Right, that's on, that's off. That's on, so the airbox is on. I'll show you how it sits. Look at that. Right, so you can easily access it, it's right there. Neat and tidy, it's not taking up space in your engine bay. It's just something else that's there. It almost looks factory. Bada bing, bada boom. You can obviously still get to your other airbox clip down there really easy. That one's a little bit, but as long as you know, you can't, can you see down there? As long as you can get your hand in there. I've got big hands, right? And I can just reach down like that. Well, it's released like that. You just got to sort of feel it a bit to pick it up and re-clip it back on. So perfectly doable, awesome spot. Once again, KAON, thank you very much. Another awesome product. And I can't really say that there's going to be any improvement on that. I can't give you any ideas. It's great. Could have asked for more. All right, guys, there you go. Obviously, you've still got your wiring to do. It's not a full-on ARB compressor install video. Just how easy that bracket is. Piece of cake. Hope that's helpful for you. That's how it sits. That's the compressor that we use and recommend, if you like. I suppose we use it. We use what we recommend and recommend what we use. You know what I mean? We're out there using the vehicles, the Prados. There it is, right? That's the compressor. Nice and neat, lightweight, tucked in there, reliable. Now we've just got to find all the, obviously the wiring. The only plug we've got to get to, the main one, you can see the red and black wire at the front end there. That'll be easy to get to. Press the switch on top, and we've just got to find somewhere to try and hold all that wiring, and it might go down in there. Actually, there's plenty of room, but we'll see what happens. All right, guys, there it is. Thanks for watching. Hope that's been helpful. Bada bing, bada boom.